Hey guys, and welcome to yet another episode of Code Way Too Easy. All right, guys, so let's jump right into it. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you so you can see. Now, if you guys remembered the last time we talked about what coding is, essentially, and because coding is just instructions that you're telling the computer what to do, and also at the same token, um, um, we started off with the topic of variables. Like it's a container, and in this container you can put a value in it, and this container has a name, so you can access that variable later. So let's go to one of our favorite websites. This time we're going to do Java. All right, so Java. We're going to do some Java coding today. Again, we're going to cover that same concept. So last time we did Python programming language. Today we're going to do Java, and you can see that it's going to be very similar to one another. And we're going to go ahead and get right into it. Let me get this a little smaller, a little bit easier to read. So this is our Java file. And the first thing that's of importance is this, what we call, and we're going to get more into this, but this is what we call a method or a function. So in Java, the first thing that gets run is this function here called public static void main. And then here, it takes in some parameters. And the name of the parameter, or that container that I was telling you about the idea of concept of variables, is called args, arguments. And what type of variable is it? What type of things does it have? Well, it's a string array. Again, that's a lot of information, but you don't need to worry too much about that. What is important here is now this is the only line of code that it gets actually executed. So if we run our infamous, every programming language has it, hello world, let's go ahead and click on that. Run the program here. It's running. It's a little slow here in the browser, but in a moment, as you would imagine, this piece of text here, or string, hello world, is printed out on the screen right here in the terminal window. So we're telling the computer, hey computer, output this hello world text to my screen. And we can change this to say whatever. I am Jimmy Espana, so I'm going to say, hey, my name is Jimmy. All right. So if I run this code, as you would expect, the piece of text no longer says hello world. It will say, hey, my name is Jimmy. All right, perfect. So now let's go back to the concept of variables, but here in Java. In Java, in Python, or any language, it's pretty much the same thing. So again, with code, way too easy. We don't care too much about the language. Languages, programming language, coding is just code. Whatever language is just a tool. So anyway, let's go ahead and create a piece of text variable. So I'm going to make this data type. The type of data this variable is going to be, it's a string. Actually, I think it's string like this. And we're going to call it ABC. And we're going to set it equal to a value. In this case, we're going to set it equal to uppercase ABC. And then in Java, we happen to end our line of code with a semicolon. So now we have a variable called ABC. It is of the data type string, so a piece of text. And we've assigned it a value. And that value is everything in between the double quotes, ABC, all caps. Now we're going to get the computer to spit out this information on the screen. And the way we do that in Java or in any other programming language is something called a print statement, a print line. Every language calls it a little bit differently, but in Java we do system.out.println or print ln, and then in here we're going to reference our variable, the container that is known as ABC lowercase, which has the contents inside it. The value is uppercase ABC. So we're going to put ABC, and then we're going to close that off with a semicolon. And now we're going to go ahead and run this. All right. It's running, and we have an error. Here's our first opportunity to debug. So here we are. This is something that you're going to have to get used to in coding. So it says here we have the string. It doesn't recognize the string. I think it's case sensitive, so I think I was right. Initially, I need to have an uppercase S for that word string. So let's go ahead and run this again. And let's see. And there we go. This time it worked. So that's, you see, some languages in programming, when you're coding, some languages are case sensitive, other ones are not. Java is in this case. All right, perfect. So let's go ahead and let's actually create some integer values or a number variable. So I'm going to call this int, and I'm going to call it int a1. I'm going to give it a value of 1, then close it off with a semicolon. Then I'm going to create another integer variable, a2. I'm going to call this 2, semicolon. And now we are going to inform the user via a system.out.println line statement here. Println. Oh, if I could spell, println. And we're going to inform the user we are about to add 2 numbers together. All right, so we're going to do that, and then we're going to go ahead and do some mathematical operation here. So we're going to create another temporary container variable. I'm going to call it, it's going to be integer variable. I'm going to call it answer. So we're going to take a1 plus a2 semicolon. Now that variable answer contains the solution to adding a1 and a2 together, which is the number 1 and the number 2 respectively. We're going to add that, and we should get the answer 3. So now we're going to do another system.out.println, and we are going to say the answer is, and then we're going to do a semicolon here, and then we're just going to copy this statement here again, and we're going to reference our variable here. So we're going to go ahead and reference answer. And there we go, guys. So again, coding is nothing more than just instructions you're giving to the computer, step by step, step 1, step 2, step 3, etc. And the program, your computer is going to execute that code. So in this case, we're looking at Java. The first thing that happens is everything inside this function known as public static void main. This is very specific to Java. But the first line of code is we're going to create a string variable or container called lowercase abc, and it has the value inside it, uppercase abc. Next thing we do is output that information to the user on the screen using a print line statement. This is a function, in other words. Then we create 2 variables, a1, a2. They have the corresponding values as we see here. Then the next thing we tell the computer is to output this piece of text or information to the user on the screen. We go ahead and do our mathematical operation of adding these 2 numbers together. Then we inform the user the answer is, and then immediately we have another print statement where we output the information. So what we would expect if we run through this code is here, we're going to output uppercase ABC. The next thing that gets output is this here, just information, and then more information, and then the answer, the value that answer, the container variable has answer from adding these 2 numbers. So let's go, and it should be 3. So let's go ahead and run it. Let's go. You see, code way too easy. This is way too easy, right, guys? So we're all following along. So you can see we got this to print out, this information, this come out, and then the result of taking A1 and A2, which is 1 plus 2, and we show that information. So that's it, guys. Again, these videos are going to be very concise, to the point. Today we learned about variables. It's like a container. It has a name. You can put a value into it. Then you can manipulate that variable and then output information to the user on the screen to make your program more meaningful and to display information to your user, right? Output is very important. So anyway, guys, that's it for today. I'll see you guys on the next one. Way too easy code. Code way too easy. I'm Mr. Espana. I'm Jimmy Espana. I'm here going to help you guys learn. Coding is easy, fun. Anybody can do it. Peace, and see you on the next one. Goodbye.